Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My hormones make me a nutcase.
Hello, hello.
Hope you are all doing well. So, today we're going to be talking all about food noise. This has been quite a big topic, especially since the jabs have been around as well. I think food noise, that kind of terminology, people use a lot. Have you found that more so, like recently?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I don't think people realized what it was before as much, but now like people are saying, "Oh, I don't think about food anymore," and that they've realized what food noise actually is. And whether it's like I do think people think we should have like zero food noise. Like in my opinion, people think that there should be no noise on food at all.
Mhm.
Like, but everyone does get it, but everyone just gets it in different levels. Like there's a healthy amount of food noise, and then there's like, okay, this is a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Because on some levels, like, well, not on some level, literally, survive, we need food. So
Yeah.
ultimately, we're meant to get some kind of food noise because if we never felt hungry, we would just die because we wouldn't
Yeah.
be eating or eating enough. So to completely eliminate food noise, which I suppose if you look at the jabs, people aren't getting the food noise, they aren't eating enough, which is giving these side effects. It proves that that is too extreme the other way.
Mm, yeah. Absolutely. You think, yeah, cavemen, they must have at some point had a bit of food noise because they think, oh, I've got to go and hunt for my food. Like, and then they probably be
Yeah,
hungry for a few days until they're like, right, when am I going to get my next bit of food? I need to hunt for it again. Like, if they never had any food noise, like you say, like, there would just be a pile of bones on the floor dead, or like they just would never look for food. Like, but that's not the way we're built. Like we are built to eat. You need the fuel. You need that food in you. You don't need to be like absolutely well, I suppose technically you're not starving if you haven't got food noise and you don't feel like you need to eat, but like you are starving.
yeah, that's it. I think, well, yeah, if that was our whole kind of survival thing, wasn't it, back in the day when you were cavemen? It was like go out, hunt, get food, go out, hunt, get food. Like that was literally our whole world. Whereas now the food is so readily available, we don't have that. We just don't live the same. But I think there's different. My brain's not really working today. What is kind of good and bad food noise? So, like, good food noise would be you eat your food, you feel satisfied, probably be good for a few hours. Then you might start to think about it, start to feel a little bit hungry, think, oh, okay, what should I have for lunch? Feel full again, might get peckish in the afternoon, or if you've eaten enough, you might be like, no, actually, I'm fine. And then feel a little bit hungry towards dinner. Like, that's kind of normal food noise. And then not so good food noise would be you eat something which is satisfying and then you still think about food. You're thinking about food all of the time. Like food is like life and it's just constantly what can I eat next? What can I eat? What to the, that kind of chatter in your head. That's my take on it anyway. That's not scientific, but that's what that's my opinion on it anyway.
Yeah, that would be mine too. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with thinking, what's my next meal?
Yeah.
But there's that's different to being then like, oh, I've just eaten that. What can I have now? What's going to be next? When can I eat next? Am I going to eat now? Like, like there's a yeah, have your food plan, know what you're having in advance. That you might wake up in the morning and go, oh, what we're gonna have for dinner, like because you might need to get something out to defrost it. That's okay. That's what you do. Okay, what am I gonna have for lunch? So you've got it prepped, you've got it ready. But yeah, there shouldn't be that element of I've just eaten. What am I gonna eat next? Like, what can I have now? Like when you've had, like you say, something satiating and full. Um, and full, same thing.
I
And
know what you
filling is what I meant. Filling. Um, Yeah, and I suppose that there can be multiple reasons why you have an element of food noise. And some, And there can be ways to quieten the food noise. Is that right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. It just
Yeah.
sounds weird. Um, because a lot of people, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people don't eat the amount of like protein and fiber and things like that, or they don't eat well-rounded full plates that they should be eating. So then they are constantly hungry, i.e., you eat a bowl of cereal at like 8 o'clock, by 10 o'clock, you're hungry, or even before that, because that bowl of cereal hasn't got everything it needs in it to keep you fuller for longer.
Mhm.
Um, and again, same for lunches. If you're just eating like a bag of crisps and some, I don't know, a chocolate bar or something and nothing else, again, that's not going to keep you feeling full for long enough. So you're going to get a lot of food noise because you're not eating a well-rounded meal. Whereas if you know how much protein and fiber like you should be having and you're adding these to their meal and your carbs and your fats, having it as a whole rounded meal. I said that like 10 times in the last sentence anyway. You're gonna get less food noise. I'm not saying like you said it's gonna go completely, but there won't necessarily be as much.
No, absolutely. I literally spoke to a lady this morning who was eating her lunch early, but she was having such a small lunch with barely any protein, barely any vegetables, that by kind of early afternoon, she was then having a small bag of crisps and then it was a few biscuits. But the problem with that is that as soon as you start eating small things, you get a spike in your blood sugar levels, then they drop, then you're hungry again, spike drops, then you're on this constant roller coaster, and nothing's ever going to feel satisfying. So you're constantly thinking, I need something else, I need something else. So that that is no fun. I find that for myself. Like sometimes if I end up at a barbecue or sort of that, and I'll snack on some crisps or I'll snack on stuff. As soon as I start snacking, it's so hard to kind of get off that train. Whereas
Hmm.
actually having those balanced full meals, like personally, I never snack during the day ever because I just don't need to. I'm full from breakfast and lunch and dinner most of the time. And yeah, I don't really get that food noise. There are times where I do, but generally I don't. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the same thing, isn't it? When you then, if you do start the like snacking, it'll always be something grabbable, which
Yeah.
probably isn't as nutritious as it could be. But you'll probably find that with a cycle like that, you're like not eating enough at lunch and stuff like that, and then having snacks. So it's probably because at 3 o'clock you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired, and you're like falling asleep at your desk. Like, and
Yeah.
that is because, like you said, you're having such a small meal at lunch, or you're not having something that's got all the elements in it that then you get those 3 p.m. crashes and stuff, or your blood sugar goes up and down and it's crashing at those points.
Mhm.
Yeah. So eating enough, which a lot of people struggle with, um will definitely help the food noise, and it will help as well like without like binging in the evening and stuff. A lot of people don't eat enough in the day, so then it comes to the evening, they get home and they want to eat everything, and again
Mhm.
that's also not going to help you, and it's not going to help your food noise because that food noise is going to get even stronger when you get home and you think, oh, I've got all the cupboards to go into, because when you're at work you probably don't have that stuff available to you, but when you get home you're like, what can I eat first?
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually you don't need to do that. That always used to be me. As soon as I walk in the door, like, what can I have, because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But it's because I hadn't eaten enough in the day.
It's so common as well. There's so many ladies that I've worked with that, oh, well, I don't really eat breakfast. I skip breakfast. And then sometimes I'll have lunch, or sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll have just a sandwich, or I'll have like just a little snack. But yeah, I come home and then before dinner, I eat loads. I have dinner and then I eat loads afterwards. So it's like, that is why, because you're not like, and I think part of it is because they want to potentially lose weight and they think that not eating in the day is going to help. Restricting is then going to help to reduce calories. But if you're overeating in the evening, you're just making up all those calories that you've had. And you're probably eating less nutritious foods, which are higher in calories. So you're probably going over your calories anyway. So really, that whole concept does not work. Unless you're just eating dinner, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you're just eating dinner, then you would be in a calorie deficit, potentially, depending on what's in your dinner. But it's just, yeah. And then it is hard when you're in that cycle as well because your body's got used to not eating throughout the day, so you might not necessarily get those hunger cues as well because your body's not used to eating at breakfast and lunch. So it takes time to kind of build that back in, but it's really worth it.
And it can take a long time. If you've not been doing something for a long time, you can take a long time. But I do find a lot of my women now are like, when they didn't come to me and eat breakfast and stuff, they're like, oh my God, I wake up and I'm hungry. Like my bellies are rumbling. And I'm like, yeah, because it knows it's breakfast time. Like you probably have your breakfast around this time. I said, that is a good thing that you're waking up and you're like, oh, I actually feel like I need food. I mean, you haven't just eaten for 12 hours, whereas in the day, you're like eating every 4 hours or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Like so there should be that element of, oh, I feel like I need food, like so you're refueled for the day,
Yeah.
like um but that can take time. Like that's not necessarily going to happen in the first week of you starting to eat breakfast, and it will be hard, but like, you've got to be like, no, I need to have something, even if it's something small, even if it's just a yogurt to start with, and then
Yeah.
build on that. Like eventually you will be able to eat breakfast. um And you're not only just doing this to like eat well-rounded meals for like to stop the food noise and stuff and the blood sugar levels and stuff, but your hormones are so important. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're not eating at all and then eating everything in the evening and you feel like shit all the time, like your hormones are gonna like, oh man, I feel like my brain is stuck today. Like I've got so much I want to say and my brain is like, no, you do
Not
not know
today.
how to get this out. But like whatever you've done in the months before will reflect in your cycle, like as a knock-on effect. So say like, I don't know, Christmas and stuff might be really stressful, but you might also be eating loads of like chocolates and stuff like that. You might find that your cycle the next couple of months is shit because you've had all of that go on and you've been eating the way you've been eating. Whereas the more that you keep your blood sugars level, the more your hormones are more stable, and you're not necessarily like this crazy psycho person that turns into one because you're keeping your blood sugar levels balanced as well. So it's not only like dulling down the food noise as to why we eat this way, but also to help your hormones because
Mhm.
essentially you work on a 4 week hormonal schedule,
Yeah.
and we need to keep that balance as balanced as we can, because you shouldn't have all these crazy hormonal dips and spikes. You should be able to live with your cycle and your period without it causing you massive disruptions.
No, like there is always going to be some disruptions, like, but like you say, it's not the extreme that it should be,
Mm,
unless you've been diagnosed with PMDD or is it PMOS they call it now, PCOS. I know
yeah.
they've changed it, and endometriosis. Like that is going to give you the more extremes. That's a
Mhm.
diagnosed thing, but actually, yeah, you shouldn't be kind of going crazy if you haven't been diagnosed with that kind of stuff. And I was literally watching a video. I think it was Dr. Faye. She does a lot of women's health stuff on social
Mhm.
media, and she was saying like, because all they trying to say actually was one of the oh, um parties, political parties, government parties, what are they called? The
Mhm.
Green
Yeah.
Party, I think. They were trying to say that bring in that we have 3 days off per month women for their periods.
Y- Yeah.
And she was like, I'm actually against this because if you are someone that has to take off 3 days off of work because of your period, you should be medically seen. And you're not
Mhm.
being medically seen because the doctors don't count that as being bad enough to be, they don't count it as a medical reason. It's just like, well, you've got a bad period. That is what it is. So actually, she was like, we're just covering up the symptoms again rather than fixing the problem. So we should be having to have 3 days off of work because of our periods is basically the
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. And there is ways that you can support it, like with your food, but also there might be underlying issues that you really do need sorting. Like I was speaking to someone today, and I'm like, "Are you sure you don't have PMDD?" Because all of this stuff that you're telling me is like ringing alarm bells at me, but like you're gonna have to ask your doctor. Like you're gonna have to go to them and ask them. Like I'm not a medical professional, but you've been dealing with this since you were young. Like this doesn't sound okay to me.
Mm. It's
But the
so
fact
hard
that
though.
she's been in and out of the doctors and no one has potentially said that to her.
No, because they don't know, do they? It's not been researched enough. It's not been looked at. Doctors barely know anything about that kind of stuff. It's it's bad.
Infuriating.
It is infuriating, and it makes it really hard for women as well because you see so much stuff out there, and it's like, well, is getting a little bit of PMS, feeling a little bit down, feeling a bit more sleepy, is that normal or is that not normal? And do you know what I mean? We don't really know what, and everyone's normal is different too. So it's very hard to then say, well, if you feel this, this, and this, then you go to the doctors, or is it this, this, and this? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's very
Yeah,
confusing.
it is. It is very confusing. And yeah, people don't have enough knowledge on it. But it makes our job harder too. Like, not in terms of like, if you want to come to me and you've got all these hormonal things, whatever, that's fine. I haven't got an issue with that. Like, I can try and help you get through it and do some stuff to help support it with exercise and nutrition and things like that. But when someone is so fatigued that they don't have the energy to make themselves something to eat, or they just about have the energy to get out of bed, and no other profession is looking at why that's happening, like really looking at it, or helping that person, it like they really want to make a change, they really want to do something, and you're trying to help them but they can't do anything. Then what happens? That makes our job harder because, like, yes, you can be like, right, okay, let's focus on the small things. Let's have some more, make sure you drink water or something like that you can do. Can you do like 1,000 steps rather than pushing yourself to wanting to do these 10,000 that you think you should be doing, like, and all this stuff. But yeah, when you've got someone that then doesn't have the energy to fight against the doctors, because you shouldn't have to fight against the doctors, they should just be on your side and listening to you. It then people give up on their health and fitness because of it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's so easy for people to give up, and actually you still need to be looking at what you're doing when you can, and even if you can't do like loads of it.
I think it also swings the other way in the sense that a lot of people like to believe that they have a health problem when potentially it's more about their lifestyle.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes people are in need of medical attention, they're not getting that. But sometimes, if people don't want to put in that hard work and want to try and change, they'll say, well, it's probably just because the amount of times, and it feels really bad to say it, but the amount of times that people say, well, it's just because of the perimenopause. And by me saying that, I'm not saying that the perimenopause isn't hard. I haven't been through it myself, but I've seen so many women go through it, and I know I can see how hard it is. But it's not just because you're going through the perimenopause doesn't mean that you can't feel better when you can't do things to change your life, but you can't just accept that as a reason to kind of give up and go, well, this is just where I am now because I'm going through the perimenopause. No,
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
change things. So, and or blame it on, well, I probably got this or I probably got that. That's why that's not working. When really it's probably down to some things that you are doing yourself or not doing
Yeah,
yourself. Being
definitely.
truthful.
I had Yeah, oh, 100%. Like I had a client that come back, like comes to me monthly. I hadn't seen her in 3 weeks. I was like, come on, we need to get you back in here. She's like, but my hormones are like crazy. I feel like shit. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know, but like let's just do a stretch session. Like the minute you come back in here, you'll feel better. Honestly, she texted me that afternoon going, oh, this is the happiest I've been in a month. But when you're like, right, we need to just keep doing this. Like, and then when she came in, there was that, okay, yeah, I've been eating like this. I haven't been doing this. I haven't been taking that. I haven't done, and my hormones feel awful and I feel awful. And I'm like, you're not helping yourself.
No,
Like, you're
and
doing all the things to fuel these symptoms and make them a million times worse. So then it then becomes horrific and you don't want to do anything. Like, this is not helpful. Like, we need to come back to those things that you were doing 4 weeks ago when you were like, oh my gosh, like I haven't cancelled a session in forever. Like I feel really good. Like, you know?
It's so hard though, because once you get into that mindset of that victim mindset, it's then so hard to crawl out of that because you get
Mhm.
more and more into it. And I've been there with my mental health. I put myself in victim mode and I still sometimes go there, but I'm better at kind of pulling myself out and talking myself out. But the more we go into that victim mode, the more we just surrender to, there's no point, what's the point? And just give up essentially, the worse you're gonna feel. And you're never gonna move the needle forward and start feeling better. But it is hard. Mentally, it's so hard. I'm not taking that away from people because I know how that feels to be in that position. But only you can try and pull yourself out of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And not just don't put the pressure on yourself, right? Like don't think you should be doing whatever you might have been doing 3 weeks ago if you were hitting the high heights of like 10,000 steps a day and 4 workouts. Don't think like, oh God, I should be there. Just think, okay, let me hit like 3,000 today. Let me get a workout in this week. Let me, make sure I've got a well-rounded meal so I know I feel better. Like all of those things first, rather than trying to go back to whatever you were doing, because again, that's not going to help you and it's not going to work.
no, that's it. Exactly. Stop aiming for that perfection. And I'm so guilty of it. So I know in other aspects of my life, like you feel like, well, this is happening. Why am I not here now? Why am I not? That's not good enough. Like, what's the point? Like, I get it. But
Yeah.
you're better off just doing something and looking back and going, do you know what? I drank more water today. That's great. What can I do tomorrow? Let's just go out on a 5 minute walk. We say it all the time, don't we? All these little things, but yeah, it just really is the best way to kind of to move it forward. But we've kind of drifted a little bit from the food noise.
Yeah. We have.
Um,
Um, yeah.
I think lack of sleep that affects your
Mm.
hunger hormones. Like if I've had a drink or haven't slept very well, I know that I'm going to be craving a takeaway, something really like less healthy, less nutritious. Probably be hungry all day, want to pick at stuff because my body's just tired. It's looking for quick little energy splurges. That's not a word, but it
Yeah,
wants to give me
absolutely.
energy.
Yeah, and like it's always carbs because your body wants carbs. Like when you've not slept, right? Or like you say, if you've had alcohol and you've depleted all your B12 or your B vitamins, like you want stuff to help bring that back. But the easiest thing to do is to order a takeaway because you can't be asked and you're tired. Like, and then they have thousands of calories in, and then potentially, say if you get a pizza or whatever, you're not going to sleep great that night because you've had a takeaway and the salt content is low through the frigging roof. Like, wake up like really thirsty, and you then repeat that cycle. You might feel then bloated because you've eaten that pizza potentially, and then you feel like there again, yeah, sleep. We say it all the time again. Like sleep is such a pain in the ass, essentially, because it's the crux to everything.
And it is hard as well if you've got young kids and you're constantly sleep deprived and mums haven't got time to find time to cook and all those things. And I think that's where you've got to try and like, and I'm not a mum, so I can't preach massively, but the staples that we talk about that you should have in your cupboards and things like that, like tins of tuna and eggs and stuff, like quick meals that you can put together. Um, so if you are a busy mum, just grab a tuna wrap or something that's just going to be really easy. Like those are the key things when, especially when you're just so tired and can't bother to think about stuff. Like just grab a load of staples, put it in, get some ready meals, put them in your freezer. Like just
Mhm.
heat it up in the microwave. That's better than you ordering a takeaway or not eating or doing all
Not
those.
eating.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Anything
Yeah,
to
and
bring
like
in?
we said before, like it's a season of your life if you're a mum. So it might be a period of time where you do have those ready meals, but at least they're getting you through and you're getting something in you, like you say, rather than nothing, or like rather than you picking it easy pastries, chocolate bars, and things like that. Again, not going to give you energy to run around after your kids. You're going to get those blood sugar spikes and you're going to feel like crap. But yeah, I think sleep, comfort eating later on in the evening. You've then got, when you haven't slept, you get decision fatigue, don't you? Like you said, like, oh, I can't be asked to cook, so I'll get a takeaway, or I don't know, you might go, oh, actually, I fancy a glass of wine, and things like that then have a knock-on effect again with your sleep again. Again, again, again.
I was listening to Layla Mosley yesterday, and she was talking about like the good and the bad days. And she's like, a lot of people have a plan for the good days and the good weeks, but as soon as the bad day comes, they don't have a minimum. So like you have a minimum for your good days of 10,000 steps, for example, cooking your 3 meals. Bad days, people are like, no minimum. It's like you still need to have a plan for those bad days. It's like have a system in place where you can still do 3,000 steps, for example, still have one healthy meal. Like, because if you let all those bad days, I'm not really relaying this very well. My memory's not very good today, but it was a really good video anyway. And she was talking about just having something for your bad days as well as your good days. Because at least you're doing something to kind of keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same for like if you have like migraines and stuff like that, have a minimum that you can still do, like whatever that is to help you recover. But like I always say to someone, like, I think I had a conversation with someone this week, and they're like, I want wine. Why do I want wine? She's going to listen to this and be like, oh, you've talked about me on the podcast. You watch, waiting for it. I'm like, I don't know. Why do you want wine? And actually, within the text, she figured it out as to why she wanted the wine. She was like, okay, that's interesting. Never noticed that before. And I'm like, right. So this situation is going to come up tomorrow as well because of the situation it was that the wine came up with. I said, and I am not going to be here for you to soundboard off of at this time because I'm going to be busy. What are you going to do? How are you going to navigate that without messaging me? She's like, okay, it's fine. And sometimes that's what you need to do, isn't it? Like you need to have okay, what am I going to do if that person isn't there? What am I going to do if I can't do that? How am I going to get around it? Again, she was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to get my steps. And actually, in the end, she ended up dancing around the living room to something and got her steps in because she's like, oh, I can do this actually. Everyone's out, the kids are asleep. Like, I can't go out for a walk. Like, what can I do? And then she's like, this is what I'm doing instead. So it's like you say, it's like, what happens if I get stuck at home and I can't go anywhere? How am I going to move? How am I going to get my steps in? Like, can you go just walk up and down the garden? I know it might not be fun, but can you do that kind of thing? Like, can you, yeah, can you put a dance workout on, dance around, or just put some music on around the house and dance around the house and do your housework? I had that conversation with someone this week as well. Like, I was like, right, 2 walks a day, half an hour. And she's like, oh, I don't think I can fit that into my day. I'm like, okay, well, what can you do for half an hour in the evening then if you've gone out on a morning walk? She's like, oh, I can put some music on, I can do the washing up, I can dance around the house because dancing makes me feel really good and then my body feels nice afterwards. I'm like, let's do that then. So it's then having those plans, isn't it? Like you say, for the days that aren't 100%, like, what did I do this time? That didn't work. I just ignored everyone, didn't do what I needed to do. What can I do if that situation comes up again? What is, like you say, the bare minimum of what I can do?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. My laptop's gonna die.
Okay. And when you have a bare minimum, it makes things easier. Again, like having a step target for the week. Like I find, again, we've gone off subject here because we're talking about food noise, but all of this helps. But like I give my clients like a weekly step target rather than necessarily a daily one. And they're like, oh, it's so much easier to hit this. Oh, I can hit my goal better like this because there's not so much pressure on each day. So again, taking the pressure off makes it easier to hit your goals.
Definitely, definitely. So some other things actually with the food noise, and it was interesting because I was getting more food noise when we were doing the 6 week challenge. Because usually in the week I don't really get that much food noise. Um, and I did actually message Louise, who had on the podcast ages ago now, and I was like, I'm getting a lot of this food noise. Like, what is it that I'm like? What did I say to her? Anyway, she basically said to me that are one of my needs not being met? That was her words to me. And I remember I was like, oh, that's really interesting because a lot of the time, yes, it can be the food noise because we're not eating enough. It can be because we're not balancing our meals right. But sometimes food, a lot of the time, can be about emotions and other things that are coming up. And I think at that time, Fred was going through had his operation, so I wasn't getting out and walking as much. I do find being at home my own, especially as time's gone on, a lot harder than I used to. I used to love working at home my own. I hate it now. I really don't like it. I get bored. I get unmotivated. Like I like to be around people, which maybe I've changed and that's fine. We all evolve, we all adapt, whatever. And that was for me, that food noise, I think, probably because I was a little bit hungry, so I was eating a little bit less. Also, I think overthinking that. And I think as well, there was just a lot of emotional things going on at that time. And actually, now when I know that I'm getting a bit bored and stuff, I will think about food because it's like a comfort in that moment. It's like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit maybe lonely or bored or whatever it is. I'll just eat something because it blocks out that feeling. Whereas actually, what I know I need, let's just go and work in the office for the afternoon or whatever it might be for me. And it's figuring out what it is for you. But so many women that I work with say this, it's like it's not actually a food thing. It's potentially something else that is going. There's an emotion, there's a feeling that's going on that's making you want to get the food to distract you from that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get that. The amount of times I will look in the cupboards when there's something at work that I don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for so long, I have been so stuck with like my social media that it drives me insane because I actually wish I never had to have social media ever. I wish like I could just contact people because they walked past my house. Like you know, like I hate it. I absolutely hate social media, but it's the only way to get business, especially when you work from home or like I've got a cabin in the garden. Like I don't work in a gym, so I don't see people. People don't just come up to me and talk to me. I don't have that interaction with people. So unless I've got that, nothing happens, right? But for so long, like I'll be like, oh, right, I've really got to do social media today. I've really got to do social media today. And instead of doing that, I will go and look in the cupboards. Not that there's anything in the freaking cupboards, and I know there's nothing in the cupboards because I don't buy it, right? But I will look for anything and everything, and I'm like, oh God, like you don't actually need anything. Why are you here? Like, stop it. Like, go and do
Yeah.
that one thing. Go and do that thing. Like, and yeah, that for me definitely comes up if there's something I really don't want to do, and I sit there and I go and procrastinate and like, stop it. Come on, get that thing done. Or like even to the point of like planning sessions. Like, I thank myself massively once I've done it. I think, oh, I've got that whole month sorted. Like I don't have to worry, don't have to like think on the spot or do whatever. But in the moment, I hate doing it. Like, and again, I will walk in and out and it will take me ages to do people's sessions because I think, I don't want to be sat here doing this. My brain's going, oh, you could go out for a walk now. It's really nice out there. Oh, yeah, you've got time for a walk. Go on, go for a walk. Or, oh, go and get something for the fridge. Like, why not? But actually, so yeah, I fully get that when there's something you don't want to do, it's them finding something that works for you and like I've worked out how to do my session planning better like so it's easier for me and I don't have to do everyone's all at once because it was just too much. And like today I've literally had a day where I've sat down, I've made this spreadsheet, it looks so pretty, and I've done all of this stuff for my social media and I feel so accomplished and I'm like, yes, I'm finally in a routine. But it's taken me, how long have I been doing all this online shit, like shit stuff, um ages, like a good couple of years. And today is the first day that I finally feel like I've made something where I can be like, right, I can follow this. I've got this. This is all right. I feel organized. But it's taken me long enough to do that, and I haven't got up and gone and got food because I've actually enjoyed what I've done, found something to enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is, and I don't think that people necessarily want to accept the fact that it could be something other than food, because first of all, a lot of us are scared of emotions or are scared of sitting with a feeling and all that kind of stuff, aren't we?
Hmm.
Generally.
Yeah,
So,
we know that. We're avoidant. Well, I.
and there are some people that aren't like that as necessarily, but you might have to think about it and accept the fact that there is more to your food noise than just feeling hungry. There could be other stuff going on. I was literally speaking to a lady this morning, and she's retired now, and she was saying she kind of sits at home and she reads a lot, and then she just keeps going into the cupboard. And I'm thinking, you're probably bored, you're probably tired, that you're not speaking to anyone, you're not got a routine or a structure. You're just sat there on your own with your own thoughts. And the reading and the food is just your way of getting through the day without feeling sad, potentially. I don't know. I didn't go into that depth of conversation with her at that point, but it's that is probably part of it. But in my opinion, what's going on?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, this could be so many things, couldn't there? But I think it is worth looking into it. Are you coming home? Is eating, watching a movie at night, are you doing that out of habit? Is there a reason why you're doing it? Is it because every time you sit and watch the TV, you eat ice cream every night? So then that triggers it. Your brain then goes, oh, every time I sit down here, I have ice cream. So where's your ice cream? Come on, go and get it. Like, is there something you've been doing for so long that it has become a habit? Like, are there little things that you can change? And yes, it might take a little while, but instead of coming home straight away and going straight in the cupboards, could you go for a little walk around the block, come back and start cooking your dinner? Like, could you do your workout before you have dinner? Like, what things could you do to implement starting to break that cycle?
And sometimes it's like setting a timer for 10 minutes and actually thinking to yourself, all right, I'm not allowed to go to the kitchen for this 10 minutes. I've had a thought or a craving, put a timer on. In that time, think about it. Am I actually hungry? When was the last time I've eaten? Like, are there other emotions that are going on? And then distract yourself, do something else, see how you feel at the end of the 10 minutes. If your tummy is actually rumbling and you are actually hungry, then that's a cue that you should eat something. But if at the 10 minutes you're actually not hungry really, it's probably something else that you need to, another need that needs to be met.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That is interesting that she came up with that though, after you'd mentioned why is it? And I suppose just looking like when you look at your food and you're being more aware of it and more mindful, like being more aware of what you're doing in terms of like numbers and that can sometimes just be like, oh, like I need to think about my food because I'm not eating enough. So now I need to eat at this point, this point, this point, this. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you feel like you need to eat potentially more than what you need. Does that make sense? Like before you would only think about like your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. And actually maybe, I'm not saying that you did, but maybe you're not eating enough calories in that time. So then you're having to think, oh, like what can I have after? Can I have something before? Like so then
You're
it
talking
makes
about
this whole process, yeah, and it makes that whole just in general, that then makes that whole process of like food noise become a little bit louder because you're suddenly now thinking about it.
yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, I don't know whether it's the same. I haven't worked with that many people that have found tracking food to be triggering for food noise. That was one that I actually realized myself, but I haven't actually had clients that have said to me, "Oh, by tracking, I actually think about food more." A lot of the time, it's the other way. It's the other way. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm more mindful and
Mm.
I'm more," but they don't actually. No one's ever said to me like, "Oh, I've thought about food more now," and you know, that was a weird
Yeah, it's
me
not
thing.
just yeah, no, it's not a weird you thing. I've got a couple of clients that won't track because that's what it then makes them think about food and they're like, I don't want to think about food. So I'm like, okay.
It's not just yeah, it's just not just me. Must be
But
sometimes.
then yeah, but then the people that like a couple of them that have been like that have a good understanding of food way, or they've been in that. So it's not because they're necessarily ignoring what they eat. They're still making good decisions when they eat. It's just they
Yeah.
don't want to be constantly like, oh, like I know I haven't eaten, and they eat a good amount. Like it's not as if they're starving themselves. If they were literally eating dinner, I'd be like, we're gonna have to work on this somewhere. Like you don't necessarily have to track, but they're like, I just know if I do this and I put numbers in the thing, then I'm more likely to get more food noise because I'll constantly be thinking, oh, I need to eat that, and then I need to have that, and then I need to, But again, food noise, thinking about this and just what I've just said there, like I suppose I have a fair amount of food noise because I have to work my meals around football. And I
Yeah.
find that makes me I have to think about like, oh, what time can I eat? When should I eat? What should I eat? If I eat that there, is that going to be enough to fuel me here? So I feel like I have to think about food quite a bit and when. So like I can't eat like a like training's at 7 p.m. I can't eat my dinner at 5 o'clock. Like that's just if I eat a whole dinner at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be chucking up at 7 o'clock. So then it's being like, right, okay, I've eaten my breakfast, I've eaten enough there, I've eaten enough at lunch, but my lunch has to be at like 12 o'clock. Like if it's too late, then that won't work because then I need something that's going to fuel me before football that's not as heavy as lunch, to say like Greek yogurt with like cornflakes or something like that. But I also need that at like 5 o'clock. So then by 7, it's gone down, but I still got the energy from it to then be able to do my whole session. And then I come home at like 9 o'clock and eat my dinner. Like I find when I don't have football out of season, like I don't have all this because I don't have to think about it. Whereas when I do, I'm like, oh shit, man, now I have to think about this. Really think about it.
But is that food noise, or is that more just you're having to plan your food around what you do? Do you know what I mean? Or is it because it's more like planning rather than going, oh, I'm really hungry, or do you know what I mean? Or oh, I could have that, or I could have this. Does that make sense? But
Mm.
that
But
maybe I'm not.
again, it depends on what people call food noise, right? And it depends on
Well, yeah,
you might
how
have
it affects
someone that
you.
might constantly have like think about it in those kind of ways. So I'm not saying that it is, but they might
Yeah,
perceive that as food noise because they're constantly having to think about what time they have to eat and when they have to eat. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah,
not necessarily
totally.
the food noise as in like you're constantly feeling hungry, so you need to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. But you might have clients that perceive that because they're constantly thinking about when they need to eat
Mm.
as a food noise
It's
kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not absolutely not saying that it isn't. I suppose it depends how it affects you, doesn't it? Like if you're
Mm,
quite happy with that and that's how you live your life, but if that's stressful for you and that's
yeah,
impacting you, then I suppose that in a way is that bad food noise. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I suppose it must
yeah.
be hard for athletes and stuff. And you because you are doing that, like because yeah, that your whole life is focused around what you're eating, when you're eating it, is that natural for your body? So that is a lot. And then when you're off season, does that then impact you on your like food noise when you're then not doing that?
I actually think I get better results when I'm not in season. And I feel
Yeah.
better when I'm not in season because I'm not constantly stressing about, oh God, I need to eat at this time, or I need to make sure I'm fueled enough or whatever. And yeah, like I notice a different again, it's hard, isn't it? Because I'm now training like stupid amounts a week. Like it's so different from when it's the off season. I only play like 5 aside on a Tuesday night because my Tuesday nights have been really good. Now I've gone back to football. Like I'm not as like on it. I'm not as there because I'm training on a Monday night and I'm potentially going to be then playing on a Sunday, training on a Monday, playing football on a Tuesday, and then training on a Wednesday. It then becomes a lot. But then if I don't eat enough, then I won't be even if it's just yeah, stressful.
Stressful. Yeah. Yeah. So it is
Yeah.
food. It is food noise for sure. Yeah. Just in a different perspective of it.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
interesting.
I mean, Not that the majority of our clients probably have that in some expect, like, but there will be someone out there that potentially is listening to us that might perceive that as a stressful food noise kind of thing. Um, but again, then the stress then causes higher cortisol, and you're thinking about that all the time. And I actually feel like I felt lighter and like more on my feet and bouncing around a bit more when I didn't have to think about food so hard.
Mm. And I feel like that now that and I'm not tracking,
Mm.
which is like, it hasn't been quite as hot, but there have been days where I've been like, oh, I feel a little bit lethargic, but I'll still go out for that evening walk. Like not thinking about the food is massive. I feel it in a similar way to you, but for a different context.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I
So it is
think,
difficult, isn't it? Because you do need to, like, if you're not eating and you're not doing any of this stuff, you do have to think about your food to start with, because you need to get into a routine and you have to think
yeah,
about it. You have to be more mindful about it. You have to do it in the first however many months that
mhm,
takes. But then you can start finding your feet once you got into a good routine of eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and stuff the majority of the time. You can then start getting into a routine of like, okay, I don't need to track that all the time, or I don't have to be so like on it all the time, because you know what breakfast works for you. You know you've got a rotation of lunches that work for you, and like, you know, it, it does become easier, but you might have to get through that hard bit first before you get to that easier stage.
100%, 100%. I think that's the difference where me and you, we know how to balance meals, we know how to put those together. So that thinking, like me preparing my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, is not hard. It's easy. That food noise doesn't really, unless I am having a particularly bad day or whatever, generally just it's fine. But yeah, like you say, to begin with, you're gonna have to be thinking about, oh, what am I putting on my plate? How many calories am I having? What am I doing? But then once you do that over and over and over and over again, consistently, it will become easier and then everything will feel easier. But I've just basically repeated back to what you just said. But yeah, you're right.
Mm, yeah, that's all right. You carry on. You repeat. People might listen.
But yeah, I think, it was like we didn't know, I don't know how to say it, but I didn't know at the beginning. Like I was always pretty lucky because my mum was generally quite health conscious, but I never had protein for breakfast or my meals weren't based around having protein, veg, carbs, and fats. So she never said that to me. We just tend to have quite healthy meals. But as I've got older, I've learned it and put it into action. But at the beginning, it wasn't an easy thing to do. And I figured out over time what works best. And now it is like just a second nature thing. But we all have to start somewhere with that.
100%. And in saying that, right, the last 2 weeks, um, every breakfast, my dad would have a slice of toast and just lather on the butter. And I always say to him, and he goes to me at my pancakes like, "You've got so much there," and I'm like, "I've probably got the same amount of calories here as you've got in that slice of toast and the amount of butter you've got on that bread." Right? I said, "However, this is going to get me through the day. You're going to be tired because that ain't going to get me very far." Right? In the last couple of weeks, he's been eating overnight oats, yogurt, a bit of granola on top, fruit, berries. Yeah, right. We started doing this. I thought, this is weird. What's happening here? Right, interesting. And then I realized like they had a conversation with their friends, and I'd text their friends going, "You want to keep saying shit like that because they actually listen to you. Please keep going." Right. And like when they're on holiday, they can do like 11,000 steps. When he's at home, he's like 3,000, can't really do much. Oh, my knee hurts. Like his knee doesn't hurt. He's had knee operations. He's like his knees are okay. He rolls around on the bloody floor with the grandkids. Like he's fine. Anyway, in the last couple of weeks, he's been having overnight oats. And yeah, he's been doing like they've been going out on a walk pretty much every day, which again, so I've said this so many times, you need to go out for a walk. Like, go for a walk. They haven't been doing it. They've been doing it. I'm like, oh my God, who are these people? And the other day, he was like, I've done 11,000 steps today. And I was like, like, they've been doing between 8 and 10,000 steps a day. Like, and I'm like,
Very good.
look, see what happens when you eat a decent breakfast and you have decent lunches, and it's not just all this convenience crap that, or a slice of toast. It's not going to get you anywhere. And he stood in the garden the other day and he was like, oh, I'm down to 99 kilos. Like, you know, like, and I was like, oh, awesome. Like, I'm not bothered by weight, but he's obviously feeling better, and you can see he's feeling better and he's wanting to do more. And I mean, I don't know if I just said this, but he's like 77 and only just started doing that. So you're not too old to start. You can start at any point.
No, and that's the thing. When I mentioned previously about people like saying, "Oh, it's down to health conditions. Like, what's wrong with me? Am I deficient in something?" Like, actually, just look at your food first and what you're doing, because if you're feeling tired by 10 a.m., if you're tired all the time, if whatever, whatever, like you said there, just changing, go for a walk, having some breakfast, healthy, but like just changes everything. But you don't notice that until you start implementing these things. You're like, oh, I just needed to have a slightly different breakfast than what I usually do, and it makes all the difference.
Absolutely. It's mad, isn't it? But it's the last thing people want to do. People don't want to change routine. They don't want to look at their food. It's too complicated. It's too hard. It's too difficult. But actually, it will be the thing that changes your view on everything and the way you act, and you'll feel so much better for it.
100%. 100%.
And you start doing that, like we said, you'll stop having all the food, or not stop, but you'll have less food noise. Like, unless
Yeah,
there's an underlying condition there, but majority of people will have less food noise. They'll be able to concentrate, they'll be more productive at work, they'll get on and do stuff, you'll have the energy to go for walks and things, you'll just generally be healthier and be how, we're designed to move and walk around, not sit all day and just stare at a
no,
computer screen and feel like crap.
no, exactly. Exactly. And literally, when you combine protein, veg, carbs, and fats, it literally is the same effect as having a GLP-1. So
Hmm.
why pay for the GLP-1 if you can just combine all foods and have the exact same like outcome, or not the exact same, but a very similar result, because it'll make you feel full and satisfied, which is what the GLP-1s do.
Yeah. And you'll get to help keep your hair, you'll keep strong bones, you won't feel
Yeah.
like dog shit, because you haven't eaten all day. Like, you just get involved in stuff, you'll have the energy to do things, you'll have more confidence. Like, yeah, just yeah. And like you say, you save yourself 200 odd quid a month,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you got to work at it. And you have got to do it. Like, you might not want to, but how many times have you said to yourself, "Oh my God, I can't be asked," and then you'll be like, "Oh, I'm like, Aimee, just stop being lazy and go and do it. Like, go and do it now." Like I said before, I hate cooking, but I will do it because I know I have to, even if it's scrambled eggs on toast with some veggies on the side. Like, it takes me 2 minutes. Like, have your go-to meals when you can't be asked, that's going to be quicker than ordering a takeaway that's going to take an hour to get to you, and then you're going to be even hungry and you're going to snack before you eat that. Like, just go and make something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I always say it, but my Aldi little pizzas in the freezer,
There
they
you
are
go.
always there. I always have two for those days. And you know what? I haven't actually eaten them in weeks, but the fact that I know they're there is really comforting. So I'm like, well, I just don't want to cook tonight. I can whack one of those in there. So
Exactly that. Yeah, 100%. There is a way to keep your food noise down, and but you have got to work on it. If you don't work on it, then that's not going to happen. You're going to forever get stuck in the cycle.
yeah, definitely. And think about some things that make you feel good that aren't just food related. Like maybe it is like you said, one of your clients is dancing around the house, or maybe it is going for a walk, or maybe it is doing some colouring in. Like I've been doing my little colouring in books again this week. So I was like, oh yeah, I've got those. And they're really like calming and relaxing. Maybe it's having a hug from someone, maybe it's texting, or like I find this really therapeutic because we just have a chat about stuff that we enjoy, and it's like we're being social, and you know, like just I think sometimes we forget as humans, it's like easy to just sit and scroll or get something to eat. And we forget how to actually be human and just do the things that we should be doing. And I love just now going into Sam's office and just sitting there and listening to all the buzz around me. Just kind of makes me like, come on, just keep going.
Yeah,
um,
I love that. I always like go to like I don't see my best friend all the time, and like I get to the point where I start feeling a bit like because I haven't seen her in a while. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go voice note her. I'm like, I miss your face. Why can't I see you? And then we'll go for a walk or whatever. And I'm like, I feel better now. Okay, cool. Like, but sometimes that's all you
Yeah,
need.
exactly. And like I've started going to the gym again with my friend. We're doing it like once a week and then and then another day every other week. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. Like, so I would never have gone to the gym at lunchtime yesterday, but I did go because we booked to go together. And actually, it's nice to just chat whilst working out, which I never do. I'm usually on my own. And then to your mood, you're just like, oh, well, so much better. All it needed was to be with someone and have a conversation because we're social beings and we should be chatting to people and all that stuff. So someone's just, I think I'm going to use that phrase, just be more human.
Yeah, human being, not doing. Is it? Is that how they say it?
Yeah, 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 that is it.
I think that is definitely what you need to do. But yeah, yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Right, should we wrap up there? I feel like we've covered everything and lots of other branches and leaves at the same time as well.
Yeah, food noise and some added extra
Like
deviated
usual.
deviants. Yeah, we roll. We like it,
Well,
right? That's how our normal
well,
conversations go. We'll be talking about one thing and then shit, something else comes in, and I'm like, oh, back to the story we were talking about 3 hours ago.
I know. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you found that helpful with the food noise. If you have any questions, please feel free to message us, reach out to us on social media, email us at fitgirls2eat93@gmail.com. And if you have any suggestions of what you want us to talk about, please feel free. And yeah, I suppose you'll catch us in the next one.
Like, rate,
And like,
subscribe,
I'll leave that to you.
follow, do whatever else you need to do. Just give us a rating and tell all your friends about us.
Yeah, definitely. We're just two normal girls trying to help you in any way we can. So if you find it
Absolutely.
helpful, please just give us a like. We really appreciate it.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, yeah, see you later, guys.
We'll see you later. Ciao.